It's Steve, continuing my AMD test drive. We're looking now at the case, and this case has a nice, understated, elegant look to it, which I like. The case was made, or it was designed by Fractal Design, which is in Sweden. And if any of you guys in Fractal Design happen to see this video, tack för en underbar design och nu jag ska bygga min dator. Okay, so let's take a look at the control panel. It's all the controls are on the top edge here, and you can see we've got the reset. It's a little micro switch. So you have to actually get like a little pin or something to push that in. Finger's not going to do it. You've got a microphone jack, headphone jack. This is the power switch. It's got a couple LED lights on it, one for the hard drive indicator light and one for the power indicator light. 2 USB 3 ports, and this is a fan controller switch. It's got 3 positions, 5, 7, and 12 volts, low, medium, and high. On the front panel, what you see is there's 2 spots here for the full 5 1/4 inch dry base, and then this area here has got a grill. In fact, we'll take this off, and what you can see is on the inside here they give you one 140mm fan, and there's room for a second fan, and there is a dust filter that's sitting back here, which you can access and rinse out. Okay, so that's the front panel. Let's go over some of the things here that we can see on the back. Again, we've got another 140mm fan right here. We've got space here for the I/O from the motherboard. There's 7 expansion slots here, plus a vertical expansion slot, and then we've got the power supply that sits in the bottom. On the bottom, let me just show you the bottom here. You can see we've got this removable dust filter, which covers both the air intake for the power supply and also another fan that you could mount in the bottom of the case if you want to. Let me roll this back up, and I'm going to show you the top now. Okay, so here's the top, and you can see lots of little perforations here. And what's cool about that is the whole top comes off. All you have to do is remove 2 thumb screws, and this top piece comes off. And what you see is there's another dust filter here. So I'll move that out of the way, and then we'll look down on the top, and what you see is, aha, there's another fan that's mounted here. It's another 140mm fan, and there's also space for up to 2 more fans if you want to put in more fans. So let's have a look at the inside. I've removed the 2 thumb screws that hold on the side panel. So I'll remove this side panel, and that'll allow us to have a peek on the inside of the case. You can see that we've got a nice motherboard tray here, which accommodates ATX and micro ATX size motherboards. There's a cutout here, which is going to allow you access to the back side of the motherboard should you, for example, need to change the back plate on the heatsink retention mechanism. You've got some nice rubber grommets here, and you can see they've already pre-threaded through all of the cabling from the front panel. So those are just sitting here kind of ready to go. and there's more grommets up here. You've got over here at the drives, what you've got is you've actually got two separate drive cages. There's one at the bottom here, which has got 3 drive sleds, so it holds 3 drives, and then one in the middle here that holds 5 drive sleds, and then of course the 2 up here for the full 5 1/4 inch drives. And what's neat about it is this middle drive cage, it's completely removable. You got thumb screws here and here. You can unscrew this, take the whole thing out. You can also rotate it 90 degrees so that instead of being oriented this way, you could rotate it around this way. It probably gives you a little bit better airflow. If you're not filling up the entire 5 spots, you probably get a little bit less restriction on the airflow. The bottom drive cage can be moved back in the case, so this direction, and that gives you a little bit more space up front. And the reason you may want to do that is, let's say you're going to put a water cooler in here. There'd be more space for it up front. You could just take this stack and move it, shift it back towards the back of the case to make room for it. There's also ample room for a water cooler at the top. You can put right here, for instance, you could put a smaller, say 120 millimeter fan sized radiator, or you could take this fan here out and you could put a full size double width radiator up there. There's plenty of room for that. So they've done a nice job of really spacing things out in this case. Final thing to note is there is some room behind the motherboard tray. There's about 3/4 inches or so for routing cables on the back side. So they've designed that very nicely as well. Okay, that's the kind of overview of the case. Och nu har ni lärt att jag talar svenska som ett barn.